In this video, I'm going over the true theoretical most damage you can do in D&D with one player in one turn. I will not be using magic items or friends, because let's be real, who has those? This build is absolutely stupid, and with it you'd be able to destroy the world, I guess. One of my previous videos was the same concept, but its build had an assumption about the spell Scorching Ray, which people were correct to point out. So here we are again, and way better this time. This is XP Goblin. Step 1. What race will we be using for this absolute god killer of a build? A Tabaxi, because we all know you're a furry. Actually, it's because of the reason anyone takes Tabaxi. Their feline agility feature, which says on your turn you can double your movement for the turn. So we're fast now. Next, for our starting class, what will we take? The Wizard, known for its overpowered spells and 4 hit points? The Paladin? Nah, we're taking the strongest class, Monk. Okay, it's definitely not the strongest. It'll be better in the new player's handbook, but for now we're taking 2 levels into Monk for that sweet unarmored movement and Step of the Wind. Unarmored movement adds 10 feet to our base speed as long as we're not wearing armor, and Step of the Wind allows us to spend 1 key point to double our movement speed for the turn. Alright, now that we're a fast cat person thing, for the remaining 18 levels we're going Bard. That's right, the Seduce the Dragon Bard. Now these two classes I don't think get multi-classed together very often, Monk and Bard, which I affectionately call the Bonk. It's stupid, I know. Anyway, as for subclass, we'll be going either into Valor or Sword subclass. Either will work. Also, when you get your expertise, make sure to put 1 into Athletics. While we're here, we're going to take the Mobile Feat as one of our ASIs for 10 more feet of movement. The main reason we took Bard is because who needs to stick to one spell list when you can use them all? That's right, we're mainly using Magical Secrets. Magical Secrets basically just allows us to yoink 6 spells from any class's spell list, and we're going to need a few of them. One of the first spells we're going to need is Longstrider. This is a Bard spell, so no need to use a secret on this one. Longstrider says that for duration, the target speed increases by 10 feet, and this is not a concentration spell. We also need the spell Contagion from the Druid or Cleric spell list. Contagion is an interesting spell, but of course we'll be doing Flesh Rot, which states that the targeted creature is vulnerable to all damage types. This spell is also not concentration. Next, we'll be taking Haste from the Artificer, Sorcerer, or Wizard spell list. Haste is concentration, but it does 2 things we care about. Our speed is doubled, and we have another action, a hasted action technically, so you can't do a few things with it, but that doesn't matter for our purposes. The last spell we'll be taking, and the main spell this build revolves around, is Prismatic Wall. This is a crazy powerful spell. So obviously it's a level 9 spell, but it's still crazy. You create a wall or a sphere of shimmering light that's walls are 7 layers thick, and each layer does something different when a creature passes through them. If a creature passes through all the layers and fail all their saving throws, they take 50 d6 damage. Restrained, possibly petrified, blinded, and possibly sent to another plane. As I said, it's a crazy spell. I mean, look at it, it takes up the whole screen. Obviously, for this video, we mainly care about that 50 d6 of damage, though as already, that's an average of 175 damage. However, this spell also states that, quote, you and creatures you designate at the time you cast a spell can pass through and remain near the wall without harm. So, we can completely ignore all the effects on this spell on us, so that's good. Secondly, it says, alternatively, you can shape the wall into a sphere up to 30 feet in diameter. So, if we cast it as a sphere and a creature passes fully through the sphere, it'd be going through both sides of the sphere, thus potentially taking 100 d6 damage. Amazing. And since the rule only stated a max size of the sphere and not a minimum size, I'm going to cast it as a 5-foot sphere, so it takes up 1 square. If you or your DM don't think that'd work, that's okay. The DM always has the right to make the final call. Just cast the wall as a wall. Just note that all numbers I say would be halved if you casted it as a wall. Alright, wonderful. You now have a 5-foot shiny sphere of magical death. What now? Well, we're going to need a few setup rounds, but here we go. Cast Longstrider on yourself for 10 more feet of movement. This doesn't take concentration, so next cast Contagion on the enemy you want to obliterate from all existence, choosing Flesh Rot so they are vulnerable to all damage. Next, cast Haste on yourself for double speed and a hasted action. That does use concentration, so no more concentration spells. Good thing Prismatic Wall isn't concentration, so now you have a 5-foot ball of death and you are crazy fast, potentially going 960 feet in 1 turn, and a base speed of 240 using feline agility, but we won't activate that quite yet. Also, that means we're traveling 109 miles per hour. If you made it all the way here, please consider subscribing, as I just made this channel and I'll give you a cookie emoji or something, I don't know. Next step, grapple your target, which because of our expertise in athletics, we can have a potential plus 17 to, so it should work. And because we're a swords or a valor bard, we have extra attack, meaning we can try twice per round. The rules for grapple state that while you're grappling someone, your speed is halved unless the creature is 2 sizes smaller than you. So for our purposes of the video, we will assume that we're grappling a tiny creature, so our speed isn't halved. If you want to know what it would be if you were grappling a small, medium, or large creature, just half any of these damage numbers. Alternatively, if you have friends, they could cast enlarge on you, making you able to grapple huge targets. Or if you have magic items, you could drink a potion of giant size and grapple gargantuan targets, both of which would be at half speed, but still. Alright, now you're faster than a race car, have the target grappled, and the target is vulnerable to all damage, and you have a shiny ball of instant death in front of you. Well, you run back and forth, using feline agility, then dash as your action, bonus action, and hasted action, getting that 960-foot movement, and since we're grappling a tiny target, your speed isn't halved. With this speed, you can pass through the square with a prismatic wall up to 96 times in a single turn, meaning they'd pass through all 7 walls 192 times as we casted it as a sphere, which, as long as they failed all their saves, this means they would take 9,600 d6s. That's not the damage, that is just the dice, or an average damage roll of 33,600 damage. But wait, we cast Contagion, meaning they are vulnerable to all damage, so that's an average of 67,200 damage, and a max damage of 115,200 damage, which is insane. This is a level 20 character, but it's only one character. What if we had friends? Well, I'm not sure on the rules if a spell only takes up 1 inch, can you cast multiple in the same square, but assuming you can, which again I'm not sure if you can, if you get 60 wizard friends or give them each a scroll of prismatic wall, you could have every single inch of that one square covered in prismatic wall, needing to pass through 420 layers of wall, and with your movement speed, that means the creature would take 288,000 d6s of damage, or a max roll with Contagion of 3.46 million damage. Now that's obviously insane, but I'm pretty sure this concept is how you get the most damage possible in one turn in D&D with one player or otherwise. All of this, of course, assumes best case scenario for these numbers, but realistically, the creature would probably die after like 4 passes, but it's fun to do the math. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe. I have more videos coming soon that aren't as ridiculous as 3.4 million damage in one turn, but, you know, later.